So I messed around with the fitment of the servo and found it did require a little bit of fiddling in order to get some of the angles correct on the linkage. I can't say that I'm 100% satisfied with where I landed, but at least it's a place to start. So we have the Revolution Design aluminum servo horn on there, and then I'm using the widest spacer that came with the servo mount, which I think is 2.5 millimeters. And that would be behind the ears on the servo, which will essentially push the servo forward a little bit. When I tried to mount the servo in the forward-most position, the servo horn would run into the steering plate and not allow full motion, which I'm not real excited about. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my truck and see, because I know I have that one totally forward. Maybe there's just a little bit of different geometry up front on that one. I'm not totally sure. Or maybe it's this servo horn. It definitely is a little bulkier around the screw, and perhaps the Hudi one just doesn't have that larger lower piece hanging down, because it was this lower piece that was running into the servo plate. So jury might be out on that servo horn. So mounting it in the second hole back with 2.5 millimeters of spacer to push it forward some. And then on top of that, I had to add 4 millimeters of spacer in front of the link. And even that doesn't get this at a totally straight angle. But like I said, it's a place to start, and it's not like I'm putting this on the track next week. So since we're going into aluminum like normal, we will throw a little thread lock on there. I'm really curious what other people who are running the 25 XB2 have for their setup on the servo. So if you're one of those folks that have done this and you've had really good luck with a setup, I'm really curious. Let me know what it is you're doing as far as mounting position, which hole you're in, whether or not you're using any spacer with the servo, if you needed additional spacers for any of the linkage. All right, so servo's mounted to the chassis, and then I believe we need to use one of these 2 millimeter conical spacers. Yes, we do. All right, so that's gonna go on there. I'm gonna screw this down, and then I can show you what the angle looks like. I know it's not as extreme as some, and so it's probably fine, but I'd like it to be a little more exactly 90 degrees. All right, so servo's mounted, and you can see this right here, the end of the servo horn, should be just a little bit straighter. Probably another, I bet at least 1 more millimeter would kick that out so it was at a perfect angle. With these 4 millimeters of spacers right here on that 10 millimeter threaded ball stud, that leaves 6 millimeters in the servo horn, which I'm feeling pretty good about. I did not want to add any more spacers up here and not leave enough thread in the servo horn itself. So that's where I'm going to leave it for now. Let me know what you think.